say so the mega funds tend to go early and furiously, and that's true both in the pre-MBA and the post-MBA recruiting cycle. So obviously the pre-MBA cycle, although I'm hoping that COVID changes this, it's like a 48-hour sprint where you meet as many firms as possible. And I guess for that, what I would say for those that are coming out of undergrad or coming out of banking, know what you want and pursue it aggressively. So like I had a list of 3 firms I wanted to work at, and I, called the headhunters to make sure that I was going to get a look from each of those firms. I tried to be as proactive as I possibly could, like meeting people ahead of time. So when I was in school, I would go to like all the, Blackstone like events or whatever, because I knew that that was a place that I eventually probably wanted to work at. So just take advantage of all those opportunities that you have to get yourself on a firm's radar, and be as proactive as possible, because you're competing against 150 other people that have the same resume that you have. And so again, it's to Matt's point from earlier, it's like, what do you bring to the table to differentiate yourself? And sometimes that can just be that they've seen your face like 10 times, right? And so they feel like they have a personal connection or a touch point to you. I would say in the post-MBA world, again, like it's a pretty quick process. It starts earlier than you think for full-time. So I had started interviewing for my full-time job in like July. So literally in the middle of my summer internship, I was kind of thinking about where I wanted to go for full-time. And so, again, just reflecting on what do I want, right? When you're thinking about a full-time job, there are other considerations too, geographics, right? So like I always thought I wanted to be in New York, and then was kind of thinking about it, and I was like, actually, I like being outside, and I like having hikes and surfing and stuff close by. And I was like, okay, well maybe LA, right? And so I ended up completely redirecting my recruiting process for that. So I think the key thing is just sit back and really reflect on what you're looking for as a post MBA, and then have a targeted list, right? I had a list of the 5 firms in LA that I would want to work at, so I reached out to them, started those communications. But I think again, the earlier you start those conversations, the more you're on people's radar, and the better shot that you have.
Yeah, I agree with everything everyone said. A couple of things I'd say, having seen kind of hundreds of candidates and people at these firms get over the last year or two with Elevate, but also more broadly in some of the stuff we've done, I think really there's 2 things you have to, I think, in your mindset, put your mindset around. One is this process, as with everything in life and your career, I think favors people who are prepared. It doesn't mean you have to rush into things. I think it means you have to spend that time up front introspecting on making sure you kind of know where you want to go, coming up with that story, and then be prepared. Because whether it's client meetings, whether it's management meetings, or whether it's recruiting meetings with people, it's the people that are prepared, who know what the job is all about. And I think this extends to people who say, hey, I don't have any prior PE experience. Well, it's okay, because now go get that experience, take some of these trainings, take some of this stuff, get up to speed. And then the second part is really self and introspection, and also what you put out outside, right? So giving people a really good understanding into why you're making the decisions that you're doing. Like, why are you coming up, why are you talking to these 5 mega funds? Like, what about it is interesting to you, and what about your background really makes you differentiated here? So I think one part is preparation, the other part is execution. I think that regardless of the process, that'll evolve, but I think that those are the 2 important things to me as I think about people who I've worked with that have been successful in the process.